Hey guys, RGarrettGamer here. As you can tell, probably, this next game, I'm sorry, I'm not a big fan of it. I don't like it. I don't like it, and it's a damn shame. There was so much potential to this game. I read an article about it. I liked what I saw, I liked what I heard, I went to find out more, and just went downhill from there. The demo was great, I loved the demo. It was a great proof of concept. Unfortunately, if you played the demo, you've played the game. There's nothing more to it. That's the game. They added nothing, they took away nothing. I was genuinely hoping that they would add something else to the game instead of just carry on with what they had, which I'm sorry, it's disappointing. They should have added more. I mean, it was a good proof of concept, but it wasn't a good just everything you need in a game. I'm disappointed by this game, and I'm gonna play it to show you why I'm disappointed with this game. So, also don't expect a lot of screenshots for this game. I mean, it's pretty simplistic and pretty actually damn boring to look at. So let's play. Let's play Westport Independent. Your game will be saved automatically between each week. There's a work of fiction named this blah 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 blah, because we really need to tell you that this is not real. Message from the royalist government. What is the public culture bill? It's the force that the blah will improve the quality of independent media outlets, guidelines for independent media outlets to follow, mandatory for independent media outlets to join the Loyalist News and Media Association. What is your responsibility when the bill comes into force? Do not print deceitful content that may harm the appearance of our country. Do not print deceitful content that may harm the appearance of the Loyalist government. Do not print deceitful content that may harm the appearance of the president. Do not print deceitful content that may glorify the acts of rebels or other criminals. Do print content that strengthens loyalty towards the government. Do print content that inspires morality in the public. How do I remove improper content from my paper? First, select an article and drag it into your desk. Second, read through the article and edit out improper content. Then, third, make sure that your article's headlines proper. Finished articles will be given to your journalist so that he can transcribe them. Loyalty, propriety, morality. That is this game in a nutshell. You're playing the editor of a newspaper, and you need to write. You need to come up with the articles, edit them, give them to your reporters to write, and then you need to publish them in 4 districts, and it happens in a pseudo-communist, fascist, whatever, 1950s, end of the 1940s country. And this game just falls short in every department. Story, it doesn't get you invested. It feels like nothing you do truly matters. It just falls flat in its attempts to tell an interesting story. And it does not engage you, it does not immerse you, it does not draw you in. Characters? There are only really 4 characters. If you count all the people you write about, I don't, because nothing really changes about them. They're still always going to be like that. There are only really 4 characters, your four writers, your 4 journalists, if you can call them that, because they're just so, they're nameless, faceless, they do nothing, they add nothing to the story, they add nothing to the game, really. You could just, I mean, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about with the characters. Like, you got Julie, Phil, Frank, and Anne, and each of them are just carbon copy paste. Like, so, you want to see how much of a carbon copy paste they are? This is Phil's portrait. He has the left part. This is Frank's portrait. He has the exact same hairstyle in a right part. There's no difference. The only difference is the fact that they have different hairstyles and they support different parts. One supports the government. Oh yes, a loyalist government all the way, and the other one is, oh no, rebels. We gotta support the rebels. Loyalists are no, it's rebels. Yes. It's just, they're so uninteresting. They're so binary, and there's no. They don't develop. Nothing happens to these characters that you care about. You don't invest yourself in them because they're flat bricks. They're flat bricks that are meant to propel the story, but they don't need to be there. And to show you what I'm talking about when they don't need to be there, also you get these little interesting bits of news and mail that really serve no purpose whatsoever other than to give you a little bit more immersion in the story. Not that it really matters, because it's such shitty immersion. But here, look. For example, here, take this. When you get a newspaper article, you can change the headline. Always between two things. It's always between two things, and it's so binary. It's either, do you support the government and what they're going for? Do you support the rebels and what they're going for? Do you support this? Do you support that? Do you want sensationalism or truth? This or that, this or that, this or that, one or the other. There is no subtlety. There is no nuance. It's so ham-fisted. Are you for or are you against? Polarized is how I describe it. There's no subtlety. I mean, I was in the demo, I could get that, because the demo they made in like a day or so. It was a product of a game jam. But I was hoping that they would make it so that you could have more headlines, so that if, like, for example, there's an article about something the president did, there was one that was completely for the president and it was absolutely non-critical. A bunch that were like ranged from kind of I ask questions. One where I accuse the president directly. One where I just report the facts as is. And another that, I don't know, just tells the human side or another side. No, there's none of that. No, that'd take effort, that'd be interesting. No, it has to be, are you for or are you against? Yes, no, oppose, support. There is no nuance. And it angers me, because this game had so much potential. They could have taken it further, but they went the lazy. This is the lowest common denominator of gaming. There's nothing to it. Anyway, now that I've ranted on for about 2 minutes, so you can change the headline between one of two things. You have all these. The articles, the thing in the article itself. Not that it really matters, because it doesn't tell you how. Like, if taking out this line, it doesn't tell me how that affects the article really. You're supposed to figure it out yourself, and sometimes it's pretty commonplace what striking out one statement or one bit of the facts it is. It's commonplace. It's, oh hey, I can understand what the consequences of me doing this is, but most of the time it's, I can just strike out the entire article, print it, and nothing seems to change about the article. And I've actually done a couple of experiments where I've struck everything out, put it out, saw how it would affect the newspaper, went back, put all these stuff in, saw how it would affect the newspaper, and there was literally no difference. So I don't see the point. So anyway, after you edit the article, you give it to one of your reporters to write. And this is another missed opportunity. This is another place the game falls flat. These are all 4 different people, and they all have their own. They're all different. Like, okay, they all have different pasts, different mindsets, different ideologies, different personalities. Supposedly, not that you can really tell that they have different personalities beyond I am this one thing, I am this other thing, I am this one thing, and that is the definition of my character in a nutshell. I'm pissed off at the characters. Anyway, so, like, if I give an article to filter, right, you would hope that the article would be affected by his bias. That he would go and write it in such a way that his viewpoints was presented, and that he was right smack dab, and that his view was put forward, and his bias was present. His bias you could see. And if you gave it to Frank, then you could see his bias come out, and his personality and lack thereof, and his thoughts come out. No, because it doesn't matter. You could give this article to any one of them, and the only way that you can see any kind of bias is that they will refuse to write it. Therefore, they're not really reporters, are they? They're more like secretaries. They're just typing it out. They're not really doing anything. They're not adding anything. They're just typing it out. So I say, why have them? Why have these 4? They serve nothing. They don't serve the story. They serve nothing. And it pisses me off. I'm sorry, it does. It really pisses me off. Because there's so much that they could have done to make the game better. I'm not even saying that they should have done it all. They could have done one tiny improvement here, one tiny addition there. But no, they just, every decision I see that they made, everywhere, everything was just so lazy, so ham-fisted, so just they put so little effort and thought into it. That disappoints me. So now that I've finished ranting about the game, I'm gonna play the game and go on. I'm gonna rant about the game some more. So, like, you give the article to him to write, and then you just blah blah edit that and give it to him to write. And loyalists, and now here's the first real article. Loyalist government pursues harsh actions against suspected rebels, or loyalist government, bunch of evil people who eat babies. Really, that's it. That's either I'm for the government, I'm against the government. I'm for the government, I'm against the government. So let's I don't know, let's go the route of the rebel and no, let's go the route of the loyalist for a bit. So new reform passed that will hasten the arrest of rebel supporters. The reform consists of exceptions in various privacy laws allowing police to expedite search warrants. Most of these exceptions apply to ex-criminals with relations to the rebels. However, some exceptions also apply to civilians who express disloyal opinions about the government. Let's take that part out because no one wants to really read about that, right? Anyway, the public culture bill has passed. Blah, 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 blah. Let's take out the part where it forces independent media outlets to either shut down or join the new government bureau thing. Anyway, so let's send it to the print. In a little while, you'll see the publishing mini-game, if you call it that, and you'll see how that sucks. Anyway, so let's see this attempt at characterization of these flat bricks they call characters. You know, I've never been a big fan, you know, and because they put so little effort into actually trying to give them personality, I'm going to give them different voices so you can actually tell them apart. You know, I've never been a big fan of the loyalist government. Well, the public culture bill is even worse than I expected. Don't blame it on the government. Blame it on the yellow journalism and the blatant lies that some newspapers post these days. There's nothing good about a misinformed public. Well, yeah, sure. But do you realize how much power government will have over the media with this? I agree with Frank on this one. I can't see how the public culture bill would be beneficial for anyone but the government. Well, media outlets like ourselves have a scary amount of power over people's opinions. But on the other hand, I don't think that giving that power to the government is a great idea either. Well, you know, apparently Phil is Bill O'Reilly, Frank is Batman, Julie's a nervous wreck, and Anne's high on marijuana or something. I don't know. That's the best I could come up with for these flat, uninteresting, just bricks. I refuse to call them characters. They're bricks. Anyway, so this shows you how many newspapers you sold. Your popularity in each district. Each district has their own tastes, has their own kind of news they want to see. And this shows you their opinion of the loyalist government or the rebels. Right now, they're all pretty heavily leaning towards the loyalists. So, yeah. And our biggest distributor seems to be the Southern Docks, which is basically the slums. Loyalists are less suspicious of me. People are more loyalist. My paper's total popularity has gone up. I have mail.